Hey, Christy Mattoon here with MindRewire. I am back again on today. I'm going to try and do a few of these a day because there's just so many different things coming up. Subscribe, like, share. I always really appreciate when people do that because it just helps with my efforts in moving information. Also, I just want to say thank you to everybody who gets on here and watches these, and especially people who comment below. And if it's beneficial, if you're finding a difference, please say something so other people watching them can see that there's some movement going on. We're in kind of a critical period of time right now as far as shifts go and shifting. And the shifting that we're seeing on the planet, depending on where you're standing, can look one of two ways. It either looks really super scary and you're going to freak out, or you're in this mode of kind of standing back and noticing, and you're keeping your vibration high enough that you can look down and see into it instead of trying to look through it and letting the fear grip you. So you're in one of two places with that, which is why I think all of this is so important right now. And it's becoming more and more relevant as we move forward through time. So I'm going to talk first of all about something that just kind of popped into my awareness not too long ago. And what I heard was, the peace is you. It is not something you have to become. So in our search for peace, it's like we have to become peace, right? We're trying to feel this level of peace. And what I heard was, the peace is you. The peace is you. And so it's finding that vibration, right? Finding that frequency of peace and then recognizing it as yourself. You have to recognize it as yourself in order to be that peace, right? It's not something you have to become. You already are. And it's kind of, I think, like it's already in you type thing. And so you just have to bring it forth. It's almost like you're giving birth to this sense of peace that we're all searching so hard for. So I wanted to throw that out there. That was just something literally came through this morning, and I was like, oh, I don't have to become that. I already am. Right? This is the attitude you have to take. And you have to do it with a sense of fun and a sense of excitement and, right, the thrill and the joy of figuring out that you are the peace, that it's not something you have to become. All right, so today what I was really wanting to talk about was, what is a belief? What is a belief? A belief is a dialogue that you have with yourself about what you think you know. And over time, that thing that you think you know, which we call a belief, turns into our internal structure and whatever it is you live by. It turns into your personality. It turns into what you think about yourself. It turns into more of how you live your life because of what you believe and the dialogues that you continue to have with those things. Beliefs themselves are interesting because if you didn't believe what you believe, if you didn't hold so tight to what you think you know, which is the belief, what would you have? What would you have? It's an interesting thing to question. And the external structure, the external structure that you see around you is what your beliefs create, right? So you're in this position of trying to diagnose your own belief system. And in that diagnosis, over a period of time, you're going to start to become more and more aware that the idea of a belief by itself is false. The idea of having a belief by itself is false. It's not helpful. It's not going to get you anywhere. If I just opened up my heart and stayed in surrender, stayed in love, stayed in God's presence, which is how I look at all of this. If I just stay in God's presence, what is my belief system? Because it's probably none of the stuff I think I believe in the position that I've lived my whole life up to this point. So here's a story for you. I was walking down the street the other day, and we live in a really beautiful area, and it's very open, a lot of cow country. I don't know if they call it that. It's cow country. It's farm country. a lot of pastures all over the place, and there's a couple of main streets in this little tiny town that we live in. And I'm walking down the street, and there's a house for sale down there. So I stopped and looked at it. And true to form, I asked my internal self, I asked my guide, I talked to God. I said, hey, do I need this house? Can I have this house? Is this house for me? Pick a question, right? I got answers to every one of those questions. And I said, is this house for me? And I heard a no. And I went, why not? Like, it doesn't look like a bad house. Why couldn't it be for me? And what I heard was, what do you believe about it? Do you believe it's something you can have, or is it out of your range? And I was like, oh. Totally right now out of my range. So the answer was no. And I said, well, what if I change my range? What if I decide it is within my range and I create whatever I need to create that range? And I manifest that and I bring that into my reality. And it's not that I'm even trying to believe bigger. I think the belief system idea itself is a broken, antiquated idea. That you have to have a belief about something in order to make something happen. What if I didn't have a belief at all? And I just said, okay, so there's this field of probability. And most often we hear it as a field of possibility. Like there's all of these possibilities that are stacked up on top of each other, and all you have to do is choose one and then move towards it, right? Or move it towards you. And in that field of possibility, in the field of probability, there is so many probabilities. And if I'm stuck in the probability that says I can't have that house for whatever reason, then that's where I am. And so when I ask the question in my guides, can I get this house? And I hear a no, it's because the probability that I've got myself wedged into is probably the possibility that that's not going to happen. Is this making sense? Please comment below if this is making sense at the point that you listen to this. This is such an interesting topic to me. In that moment, I released all belief system about what I could and couldn't have, and I re-asked the question and literally heard, you can have anything you want to. It's why I created this universe. I created it with the idea of love, like unconditional, love, of gratitude, of being in joy, of abundance, unlimited abundance. Look around you. Think about this for a second. Type below and let me know what you're thinking. Email me at Christy Mattoon. I'm going to let this one sit because it's kind of a higher level way to try and think. So there's some of you might hear this and just like run into a brick wall. Just breathe. Inhale and exhale through it. You'll be fine. And then come back to it and take another look, because it is a little bit higher level of a way to try and think. So I'm going to bless you and I'm going to bail out. Have a great day.